Now, this is an individual that, from his behavior and from his mannerisms, obviously suggested that he was gay. And the fact that he was planning to go on this mission, which he suggested he would be transported there by a helicopter, suggests that his role is exactly what it suggests. And we're going to be talking to Alex from Info Creek in a moment to try and get more details on this. So this could be the biggest story out of Bilderberg 2011. So we're feverishly trying to fill in the blanks. Aaron Dykes.
And Paul, just to put it in greater context, we know, of course, that the Bohemian Grove meetings, they routinely fly in primarily male prostitutes. They also fly in some female prostitutes, but the prevailing, okay, we've got a bullhorn on the hill over here, and let me just cut into my own report and say that we do have pretty good numbers, maybe only about 100, but very active activists out here who really have a lot of signs and want the Bilderbergs to know what they think. We have, by the way, seen quite a few of their Bilderberg limos still arriving even today, going in and out of the meetings, transporting the members. We're not exactly sure. But to get back to this bombshell information regarding a source that we've contacted in a hotel here in the area, again, Bohemian Grove and these other exclusive retreats, we know that male prostitutes are routinely shipped in, some female, but the prevailing preference would be for male escorts. And that's also true of Jeff Gannon, who's admittedly connected to the White House and so forth. So we know these elitists do have these kind of tastes, and it's not really a surprise that we would find a source like that. It's just also a matter of luck. And Paul, he's gone down the hill. Would you like to add anything on that? Sure. I'm going to pass the phone right now to John of We Are Change Birmingham. He's been here with exclusive video and also talking to sources, helping us gather information. I'm going to pass the phone to him for a minute.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, last night we were in a couple of bars in Tamarit, in the town here, in the village, and we got some information that possibly somebody was going to be working today at one of the Bilderberg meetings, possibly serving food or drink. Later on, it became apparent that actually he wasn't going to be just serving food or drink, he was going to be serving something totally different. And obviously that was quite a shock to us. We didn't really think that we would come across, you know, somebody who was admitting to us that he was a male prostitute. And he was obviously very cagey then. He sort of said, no, I can't talk about it. We sort of said, look, we'll give you some money, tell us something, you know, anything that comes out of there is really important. You know, listen to what these guys are talking about, because any of this stuff could affect the world's interests over the next 12 months or indeed into the longer term. And, yeah, it was pretty gobsmacking to be in a bar and to hear somebody sort of literally admit that today they were going to be servicing some moguls up here at Bilderberg in El Paradiso, which apparently is some type of log cabin, which is very close to the hotel, I understand, very close to the hotel here at Savetta in Tamarit. And we've actually got Alex here from Info Creek, and I think he's going to tell us a little bit more.
So, yeah, we got some new intel, and it's supposed to be a small, very beautiful, very posh town, close to the city of Lugano. And we're speculating on why this is necessary. Is this just a pleasure trip? Is this just fun, a fun part? Because remember, these are 130 of very, very important power brokers. They don't have any time to waste. They came here on a very, very tight schedule. So we're asking ourselves, why do some of these Bilderbergers seclude themselves from other Bilderbergers to go to that place? Because if it's just for fun, you know, we're asking ourselves, don't they understand they have a very tight schedule and they can't waste any time because they have to figure out how to kill the free internet, and they put up these timetables. So they're very busy. It's a very, very weird situation we're dealing with here. Oh yeah, yeah, of course. There's some people, locals. They're always hired when these meetings take place, and they're being security checked, triple checked. We heard some stories about how that all goes down. Very, very high level of security. I mean, even I was surprised how big the security is if they actually hire a local to do some of the servicing. So we speculate this might be a pleasure trip, or this might be some secluded special conversation, secluded from the main Bilderbergers. And of course, that would be a very, very important talk. If we can spot people, if we can follow maybe a helicopter or the cars, if we can drive to that place, because I think we know exactly where it is. If we can see faces, get faced on camera, we would maybe get a clearer picture of why they went there, who went there, and kind of deduct from that what they're talking about there, what they're doing up there.
Thank you very much, Alex. And obviously, we are going to be trying to contact that source later and get more information from him. But he was rather reluctant to speak to us. And as Paul mentioned, it took the course of several drinks to draw out more information regarding a possible male escort for one of the Bilderberg members. And obviously, we cannot disclose the exact location for the protection of ourselves, the reporters, and the source. We don't want to put anyone in danger. This is really serious business, and these are the big boys who don't play games. They're not afraid to neutralize leaks and sources and potential moles if they identify them. So this is very serious stuff, and we don't want to play any games with that. Now, we might shift gears altogether and talk about another very bombshell Bilderberg source that's been lying in plain sight for about the past year. There's on the official site, bilderbergmeetings.org, and although they don't disclose an awful lot of information, they do now list a series of topics, very euphemistically titled, academic language. It sounds very proper and everything, but there are clues in there as to some of their inner dealings. Let me just give you some of the information from last year's conference, which was June 3 through 6, 2010, in Sitka, Spain. Just a few hours train ride from here in St. Moritz, Switzerland, the site of the 2011 meeting. In 2010, in Sitka, Spain, Bilderberg admits themselves that they discussed current events, North Korea, Iran, and non-proliferation, global cooling, implications of slow economic growth, kind of a tongue-in-cheek reference to global warming shifting to other paradigms as the economic growth continues to slow. Of course, many of the carbon tax measures are designed to do just that, shut down the economy. So a potential interpretation of that agenda meeting item from 2010. Also from the 2010 meeting, we know that there was the growing influence of cyber technology. This is going to be a very important point. I'll get back to that in a moment. The growing influence of cyber technology. Also, is financial reform progressing? In other words, are the world government, Bilderberg elitists, going to get in the centralizing and financially enslaving measures they want to get out of the larger global financial crisis? It's something that Ednier Davignon wrote about in 2009, just after the 2008 economic crash had begun, that though they hoped to bring in some very serious world government economic control measures, they also knew that these measures were extremely unpopular with the people of Europe. We've seen evidence of that, obviously, from all the austerity protests in the various countries across Europe, most recently in Spain, also in Solidarity, France. Luke Rudowski of We Are Change, of course, has been reporting on that as he was just over there last week. Also from the 2010 Sitka, Spain meeting, again from the official Bilderberg disclosed topics, U.S. and European fiscal and financial challenges. Also the European Union and the crisis of the euro. The European Union and the crisis of the euro, this very much fits into the fact that they're meeting here in Switzerland. Tucker and other inside sources have already suggested, as well as Dominique Bettig, that one of the agenda items they would like to achieve is coaxing Switzerland into accepting the euro and into joining the European Union. But of course, they are a very proud, very sovereign country. They have no interest in doing that. They have an extremely strong currency here of their own, the Swiss franc, and they have one of the highest living standards anywhere in the entire world, higher even than in the U.S., and whether or not they would be able to bring Switzerland to their knees would be absolutely bombshell for the total domination of the European Union. So it's a very important item to watch. And one thing we did see last night at the meeting, which was held mostly in German but also included some English translations, was Dominique Bettig and Lucas Reisman, and also another member of the legislature here in Switzerland. They came to speak out against the Bilderberg meeting, to ask for transparency and to resist the globalization efforts, particularly in regard to currency in the European Union trying to be imposed on Switzerland. So that's a very important front of resistance to continue. Another very important topic from 2010 in Cinque, Spain, again officially disclosed, promises of medical science. We know that Bill Gates has been to Bilderberg several times over the past years, and we've just learned today from our inside sources that Bill Gates of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the mega billion-dollar foundations funding vaccines, various measures in Africa, and plenty of other stuff, he would obviously be involved with the medical science area, as would other of the very important members here. Also on this list is energy's promises and challenges. We know that some of the Danish members want to change us entirely to a carbon-neutral form of energy, and even more bombshell, we have both Switzerland and Germany dropping nuclear power and attempting to phase it out. In the case of Switzerland, by the year 2034, that's why this year attending Doris Leuthard is very key on that topic, who we believe we saw flown out yesterday. Also in the 2010 official topics list, security in a proliferated world, Europe, U.S., a new approach. And then this one I found very significant, social networking from the Obama campaign to the Iranian Revolution. Let me repeat that, social networking from the Obama campaign to the Iranian Revolution. For several years now, we've been hearing about the Twitter revolutions, the color revolutions, the various protests within Iran, and most, if not simply many, of the other countries there in the Middle East. We've seen, obviously, quite a bit of protesting, spouts of violence, and various changes of dictators and heads of state over the past several years. That's something really to take a look at. We know that Hillary Clinton and other U.S. officials have been involved in coaching and training and fielding a lot of these social networking revolutionaries there in Egypt and in Iran and the other countries. And this is further significant because there are quite a lot of high-tech Bilderberg members here in attendance. We've talked so much in the past years about the elderly members who've been working on world government in excess of 50 years. But I think the important developing front of the Bilderberg meeting is that there's people like the CEOs of Facebook coming here, Craig Mundy and Bill Gates of Microsoft coming here, Peter Thiel of the Bilderberg steering group, one of the major financiers of Facebook, also a hedge fund manager and the CEO of PayPal. Of course, we also have the various intelligence agencies, the CIA, the NSA, and others, all working on these new revolutionary platforms. That's only a few of the members. There's quite a few involved in high-tech and new areas of online. So I think that's really an area to watch. There's a lot more on BilderbergMeetings.org, a real insider source lying in plain sight. I won't go through it all now, but I thought I would just cover that much of it. I'm going to turn you back over now to Paul Joseph Watson.
We're here live, Bilderberg 2011 protest day on this Saturday. As we broke earlier, the bombshell news about the potential male escort servicing the Bilderberg moguls. We're going to try and dig up more information on that, because obviously that could be the biggest story to come out of this conference. Just beforehand, Aaron was talking about the attendee list, and specifically the people who did not appear on the official list, but actually from Jim Tucker's routinely accurate inside sources later emerged, were at the conference. One, of course, is Anders Rasmussen. Now, on the very first day we photographed Anders Rasmussen, and we were almost immediately able to confirm his presence, and which, of course, ties into the revelation that they're planning to expand the war in Libya beyond the end of the year. The cost of the war is already at $750 million, scheduled to rise over $1 billion in the coming weeks. So Rasmussen is basically here to coordinate the policy to deeply entrench the United States and the NATO powers further into the war, the bombardment, no-fly zone against Libya. We're going to go to some music now. We're going to come back with interviews with activists here at the Bilderberg 2011 protest. It's the Alex Jones Show live. Stay tuned. We're going to go to some music now.